leaving us.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Dharma Sunday. Today's topic is radiant receptivity, and we have Joel Levey with us. Some quick tech tips before we get started. Typically, we're going to be on speaker view, but if you would like to see everyone who's here with us, you can change to gallery view using the little icon in the upper right-hand corner. It looks like a waffle. If you just click on it, you can change. You can also use that to choose hide self view, and that will make it so you can't see yourself when you're going through the gallery. but everybody else will still be able to see you. We also have closed captions. So at the bottom of the screen, you can click Show or Hide Subtitles to turn the captions on. We have the chat enabled today. If you have any technical issues or questions, feel free to chat them to me. Please don't chat to Joel while he's teaching, just so it's not distracting. And if for whatever reason you get kicked out of Zoom, you can also get technical help by emailing Zoom support at naturaldharma.org, and I'll do what I can to get you back in. During the question and answer period, there's a reaction icon at the bottom of the screen that you can use to raise your hand. We'll invite you to raise your, if you raise your hand, we'll invite you to unmute and you'll be able to share your question or comment. Please be aware of the fact that this is being recorded and we cannot edit out particular questions or comments that are asked. So if you do decide to share something, just be aware that it is going to be recorded and shared with folks into the future. There we go. And a quick introduction for Joel. Joel has devoted his life to the intensive study, practice, and teaching of the Dharma. He's received blessings from many beloved teachers in the Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana, and Dzogchen traditions. And they are excited to share what they have learned. With 50 years of experience, the Leveys, Joel and Michelle, are early pioneers in introducing mindfulness and Dharma teachings into mainstream medicine, higher education, and organizations, and have served on the faculty for University of Minnesota Medical School, Indian Institute of Management, and Mahidol University in Thailand. Published works include Living in Balance, Mindfulness, Meditation, and Mind Fitness, and Wisdom at Work. And I will turn it over to Joel now to start us with the refuge prayer. Oh, Joel, you're muted.
Thank you. Deep bows and aloha from the Kahuhu Ahapuaha on the northern tip of the big island of Hawaii. It's really heartwarming to see a number of old and beloved Dharma friends and some new ones yet to be discovered here. So grateful for the opportunity to share this this exploration with you today and some practices and weaving of practices that I hope you will find inspiring, if not a wee bit enlightening. So in the spirit of the lineage and tradition that is hosting us and one that is very dear to my heart, let's begin with this prayer of refuge. Let's do it in English to begin with, and then we can chant it together one more time, and then we'll do it in English a third time. Traditionally, this would be done 3 times. Keeping in mind that all of the contemplative practices are really means of attunement. It's like we're tuning ourselves to a certain quality of sensitivity or a certain quality of view, a certain quality of resonance. So that with a chant like this refuge chant, we're attuning ourselves to the historical Buddha and the stream of Dharma teachings that were offered by that great awakened sage, and to the community of beings who have devoted themselves to trying to awaken to what that sage pointed out in terms of the nature of reality. So by going to refuge, we're just trying to interfuse our stream of consciousness with the stream of consciousness of this realization. And we rely upon the power of generosity and all the other perfections, the six perfections, so that we too may awaken to our true nature and highest potential for the benefit of all. And in chanting this prayer and taking it to heart, we're also aligning and attuning to our own inner Buddha, that part of you that's looking out through your eyes and can smile to yourself and go, I'm awake. And perhaps to realize I'm the awakeness within all beings. And the Dharma being the way things truly are, and the teachings that help us to, in a sense, get real, to align ourselves with living in a realistic view of the true nature of ourselves in reality. And we're tuning into all of the awakened and awakening beings that are part of this great vastness together. So as we chant or say these words in English and in the Tibetan, just have some sense of what it is I'm pointing towards with these words of what this prayer may be about. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until enlightened by the power of generosity and other perfections. May we realize Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Sangye chidang soki chognamwa. Changju bardu dagni kyabsu chi dagi jinsogi pesanamgi prola penchir sange druparsho. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until we fully awaken by the power of generosity and all the other perfections. May we realize Buddhahood for the benefit of all. Thank you, Amanda. We can close that screen for now. So, as I listened for guidance on what to share today, this theme of radiant receptivity came to mind. And I'd like to just create some frame for this inquiry together. And then we'll go into a meditation, then we'll reflect on whatever arises within the meditation and see where we go from there. Yeah. I remember in studying with Lama Yeshe, who I was fortunate to study with for a number of years. Lama used to say again and again, keep checking up on your motivation, keep checking up on how you're constellating the stream of your consciousness, what the intentions are, the motivations, the prayers that you hold in your heart. I remember one time when we were fortunate to be with Reb Zalman Schachter, Shalomi. I don't remember if we were with him specifically or with Reb Zalman and the Dalai Lama together. But Zalman pointed out that we're praying all the time. We're praying all the time. If we're hungry, we're praying to find food. If we're lonely or disconnected, we're praying. We have a prayer, an implicit prayer, conscious or unconscious, that orients and organizes our awareness and our attention to seek for sense of connection and relationship and meaning. So it brings to mind this invitation, going back to Lama Yeshe, keep checking up on your motivation, to keep checking up on what are the prayers that are most alive in our hearts in any given moment. And I find that a really beautiful frame, just to kind of have there in the field of our awakening being, in the field of our mindfulness. What is the intention, the motivation, the prayer that is adjusting and attuning the filters of my perception and my attunement to the world within me and around me in any given moment? So the meditation today, in some ways, is a way of just tuning into and staying true to our heart's most cherished intentions or prayers in any given moment. And this meditation that we'll explore in many ways helps us tune into the teachings, precious teachings of Garib Dorje on view, meditation, and action. You know, what is the view of reality that we're able to tune into? And how do we, as we establish whatever view of realistic presence, of true presence, how can we sustain that view through our meditation? And then the action being when we wander or stray or fade from that quality of presence, from that quality of attunement, from that prayer, how do we return back into an alignment and attunement with that quality of being? There'll be aspects of the meditation today that have harmonics of meaning within the visualizations and the energy yogas of the Vajrayana, deity yoga practices. And you'll find, hopefully, that through the practice that we'll do today, that there's also a more subtle attuning to a quality of mindfulness and inner vigilance, or meditative presence that's really essential for success in any meditation practice. So that's kind of a frame on what we'll tune into today. So, in the spirit of Brother David Steindl-Rast saying, another name for God is surprise, I'd like to invite you to just reach up into the sky, actually reach up with a hand and pick a star. Okay? Pick a star, some radiant point of light up there, and then bring it down and hold it between your hands, this point of radiance and luminosity. And see if you can translate the words that will follow into a meaning and imagery and energy for you. Now, as you hold this star, as you hold this point of light between your hands, tune this to your heart's deepest aspiration and prayer. And in the Bodhisattva spirit, this prayer may have two harmonics to it. One is a prayer that is oh so personal, and a prayer that is oh so universal in the spirit of for the benefit of all. So as you breathe, as you just let the sincerity of your heart flow into this point of light, tune it to whatever these qualities of being and presence and prayerfulness may be. Perhaps to find greater peace in these turbulent times, and through finding this greater peace, to be able to share this peace with all the other beings who share the larger body of life with you. Perhaps to come to a sense of deeper healing and wholeness And through coming to this greater sense of healing and wholeness, to be able to convey that sense of healing and wholeness into the hearts and minds and bodies and souls of all beings. So listen for your guidance on how you do this. And when you get this point of light, attune to that vibe, those qualities and frequencies of intentionality and prayerfulness, then bring it into your heart of hearts, or bring it into the heart of the little Buddha sitting in the lotus in your heart center, or however you might conceive of it. Just bring it within. Let it find its way to the place of its optimal, most exquisite brilliance. Let it merge with the seed syllable in your deity's heart, so to speak. And as you do, just then abide within the radiance of holding that vibe, of shining forth that quality of being and presence. And sense and listen for and notice when that may, the radiance of this quality of presence may fade or wobble. See what it takes to just come back into this just powerful, gentle, in a sense, effortless quality of radiant presence. Radiant presence of love or of peace or well being or healing. And since this quality of presence radiates forth, that brings you into attunement with everyone and everything that resonates at the same frequency, everyone and everything that holds the same intention or prayer, everyone and everything that is a source of refuge or strength or inspiration for this quality of being, this quality of presence. And as this radiant receptivity shines forth, just sense how through that field of resonance, through the vastness of being, it also draws back into you the qualities that you aspire to radiate the most. So if you're radiating peace, then in the deepest receptivity of your being, you're drawing in the energies of peace from the hearts and minds and bodies and souls and ground of being that peace resides within. So that abiding in this way, in this quality of radiant receptivity, there's this powerful radiance, but there's also this powerful sense of being super saturated and gathering into yourself the qualities that you're radiating. So there's a beautiful, profound, in a sense, very effortless interfusion of radiance and receptivity. And with your introspective alertness or vigilance, you notice whenever this fades or wobbles or is compromised in any way, and you just explore sourcing the guidance for how do you come back into this quality of radiant receptivity again and again, whenever it wobbles, whenever it fades. So if you're familiar with or have been practicing any of the deity yogas within the Vajrayana traditions, very much like holding the seed syllable at your heart, perhaps surrounded by the mantra garland, and the seed syllable and the mantra just shine forth with the energy and the blessings and the light of that quality of being, that quality of presence, the quality of divine dignity and radiance. And as this light shines forth, it brings blessings and resonance and bathes all beings in this radiance, but it also draws back into you the vitality and the inspiration and the blessings of all those beings who have awakened to or awakened to these qualities. So it's as though the warmth and the light of the fire shines forth, it brings back more fuel for the fire to shine more brightly simultaneously. And as you abide within this radiant receptivity, perhaps there's a mudra or a gesture that just helps you just really amplify or attune more deeply to this quality of being. And if there is a mantra or gesture that just kind of builds this quality of the experience of radiant receptivity, hold that gesture, hold that mudra. Perhaps it's just a simple, gentle, beautiful smile. Or a gesture that really has a quality of radiance and a quality of receptivity to it. Just listen for your guidance. Listen for the guidance of your inner guru on what that is, if there is one. Or even a mantric sound or a seed syllable like ah or om. So you can use whatever skillful means may arise for you that just help you go deeper and deeper into holding this view, this quality of presence, of radiant receptivity. And as you abide in this way, in this kind of profound and that is, in a sense, effortless quality of radiant receptivity, just allow any of the psychic structures and neurotic patterns and kind of samsaric conditioning, the sticky stuff that you just keep kind of glomming back into. Just sense that in the field of this radiant receptivity, that those constrictions can begin to relax and that those impeding patterns can begin to dissolve and resolve. To allow you to just more effortlessly, more radiantly, more receptively abide within the sublime quality of being. To nest into this in a manner that perhaps you just catch a glimpse here and there that, oh, at the deepest core of my being, this is just how I am. This is a profoundly natural and accessible and foundational and essential quality of beingness that at some level of being is always available. And you can sense that in the receptivity where we receive the blessings, the inspiration, the light, the love, the spiritual power of all of our beloved teachers and spiritual friends and everything that is true and good and real and noble and inspiring. We just gather and absorb that spiritual strength, these waves of blessings. And as we take these to heart, then we radiate and extend the light of our love and blessings back to all the sources of strength and inspiration and blessings that bathe us in their light. And as we receive so deeply, we also radiate and extend the light and the energy of these blessings to all beings in need of these blessings. Who just need a little spiritual nudge or hug or infusion of this goodness and light that flows from our hearts to their hearts, lighting them up, adding our light, our love, our blessings to their hearts, to loved ones and friends, to children and grandchildren, perhaps great, 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 great grandchildren yet to be born. Or to our teachers, and through them to our teachers, 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 and an infinite expanse back through time. so that as we receive, we radiate. Simultaneously and with each wave of the breath, a sense of receiving, of radiant, receptive. Receptive radiance. Just like a musician tuning their instrument to have the most pure tone and resonance among the strings. We just keep tuning and refining, coming back into the purest tone of this intention, this heart prayer, this radiant receptivity, this shining forth, this receiving. And if we fade, we can maybe even just gently smile and reach up and touch our heart and brighten this sublime light. This radiant presence. Mm. Let's explore some harmonics and some variations on this practice of radiant receptivity. You've kind of tuned into this, through your own kind of intuition, imagery, your own purity and sincerity of heart, prayer, of aspiration. So just explore some other ways to kind of explore this quality of radiant receptivity. So you could envision the through the radiance of the purity and the sincerity and the heartfeltness of the quality of being that you aspire to abide within, that the teacher or the Buddha who is the most reliable, sublime, trustworthy embodiment of those qualities just comes to nest within you. Like your soap bubble merges with their soap bubble, your heart merges with their heart, your eyes look out through it, their eyes, and their eyes look out through your eyes. So that perhaps you merge with Tara or Chenrezi or some beloved teacher who you really have faith and trust in. And there's a sense of interfusion and commingling with them in this way, of guru yoga, of deity yoga with them. And as you do, then the radiant seed syllable within their heart merges with the radiant seed syllable, jewel like shining star in your heart. And there can be a sense of show me what it's like to abide within this quality of radiant receptivity. And in the deity yoga traditions, there's the visualization at the crown of ourself and of the deity or the teacher that we merge with. Crown, there's a radiant point of light, a radiant seed syllable om, shining with a white light and nectar at the crown of our head, suffusing the whole physical dimension, material dimension of our being with white light and nectar that purifies and heals the body, that aligns our body with the true, a true embodiment of awakened, enlightened presence, with the sound and the energy and the luminosity of Om at the crown, white, diamond light. And at the throat, a red seed syllable of ah, shining forth a red light, a ruby like red light and nectar that suffuses the entire dimension of our energy, the radiant dimension of our being that infuses and suffuses the body. It shines forth in a boundless way around our body with the energy and the light and the nectar of ah. And at the heart, the seed syllable of hung, H-U-M or H-U-N-G, hung, a blue, radiant, hung syllable, jewel syllable. At our heart of hearts, shining forth and just blessing and purifying the dimension of our mind, that boundless, open, clear, sky-like, loving ground of true being. Is the deepest inner presence and identity of all beings. So there's this sense of the blue hung at the heart, shining forth with this sapphire like blue light and nectar in a boundless way. Mm. And then perhaps we can experience a simultaneity of the white Om shining forth at the crown and the red Ah at the throat, the blue Hung at the heart, both shining forth and receptively receiving and gathering the light and the blessings of all the energies that bless our body, our energy and speech and our mind as we hold this white, red, and blue radiance at our crown, our throat, and our heart. This radiance of Om, Ah, We can weave this into the what's called the Vajra breath. So as we breathe in, there's a sense of the Om and this white light, this white nectar at the crown, the body, blessing the body, and in the fullness of the breath, the sense of the radiance of the sound of Ah, the red light, red nectar, shining forth receptively. And with the exhalation, the sense of the Hum, blue light, blue nectar, radiant receptivity. So breathing in with the Om, the Ah, and the fullness of the breath, and the blue light with the Hum exhaling. Each breath blessing in the deepest of ways, body, speech, and mind, blessing within ourselves, blessing all beings. To awaken to these three dimensions, these three integrated dimensions of the awakened being. Om. Ah. Om. Radiant, receptive. Mm. Oh. And then, if you like, I invite you just to explore one other way in which this radiant receptivity within the profound teachings that stream through these lineages can be awakened and explored. And this aspect comes from the lineage of the teachings in the medicine Buddha tradition, where there's a beautiful practice where if there's a place within your body that calls for healing, perhaps an aching joint or some area of suffering or pain or vulnerability, that you can just envision within the region that needs healing, visualizing a radiant sapphire blue medicine Buddha. Tiny and bright and luminous, shining forth healing energies into that region. And as it shines forth, those healing energies also drawing in healing energies from all the sources of healing, all the medicines, all of the other medicine Buddhas. So you visualize this radiant blue medicine Buddha wherever you need healing within your body. And there may be a single focus for this, or there may be multiple focuses. So you may have multiple little radiant blue medicine Buddhas nesting within the multidimensional matrix of your body, shining forth and drawing in healing energies as blue light or as rainbow light or as clear light into those regions, suffusing them with healing. Again, in this mode of radiant receptivity, there's a quality of prayerfulness, a quality of intentionality that you bring to this. But there's also a deep, deep, sublime quality of receptivity within the radiance. Hmm. And as you do this, to awaken a deep sense of confidence, this is something you could do at any time. If your throat's feeling a little scratchy, you can just place a radiant blue medicine Buddha in that region. And if you don't really know what the medicine Buddha looks like, just it can be as simple as a blue field of radiant, loving, healing light that shines forth and draws healing energy back into that region. And if a loved one or a friend has a sore throat or a broken bone or a region within their body, the matrix of their body that needs healing, in the realization that we're all embedded within the larger body of life, you can visualize a blue radiant medicine Buddha in their body, just as a node of healing, a blessing that you convey into that part of your body that resides within their body, in the larger body of life. Or even, yeah, if you have a medicine Buddha in your scratchy throat, that you could envision, may all beings who have scratchy throats or aching joints or heartache or suffering of any kind, may there be radiant blue medicine Buddhas bringing healing to those parts of their being. So that our own personal suffering can open our heart to a wish for and an engagement in bringing healing to all beings who may suffer in the same way. Mm. So, as we move now into the completion stages of this meditation, I invite you just to look into your heart or touch your heart and gently smile. Feel this radiant receptivity, perhaps even returning to a sense of that original star that you brought into your heart, attuned to the qualities of being, the sublime qualities of being that were true to your spirit, true to your heart's prayer. And as you touch your heart or you feel this radiance and gently smile, just to rest in a boundless sense of open, clear, sky-like loving awareness. And to behold what's shimmering within you now, what has come alive within you through this sequence of contemplations today. What gifts have you received? What realizations have you come to? What insights or views have you glimpsed that you treasure, that you'd like to remember and perhaps return to explore and to fathom more deeply in future meditations? Just see what's here. What's the glow and the flow within you? And then when you're ready, just to move into the quality of radiant receptivity that is in the mode of dedication, where there's an intention to share all that is good and true that has awakened within you, all the peace, all the healing, all the goodness, to let this shine forth from your heart into the hearts and minds and bodies and souls of all beings everywhere, to individuals or groups of beings who you feel a particular resonance with or care for, sharing this great goodness, this great love with them. And shining forth this great wave of dedication, of blessings, of generosity, of sharing from your heart into the hearts of all beings everywhere, adding your light to their light, adding your peace to their peace, adding your healing and your love to their healing and love and wholeness. with the wish and the prayer that may all beings receive this offering, this dedication, however they most need at this time, to awaken to their true nature and to their highest potentials. Mm. Just being in this mode of radiant receptivity and the spirit of dedication for the benefit of all. And when you're ready, just coming back into each other's presence here, seeing and being seen, blessing and being blessed. And in the spirit of integration, I would invite you, if you like, just in a word, an image, a phrase, maybe even a gesture, just offer a little glimpse of what's alive within you now as you kind of emerge from the meditation. Just call it out. What's alive within you now?
Peace.
Yeah. What else?
Compassion.
Gratitude.
Spaciousness.
Contentment.
Delight.
Beautiful.
Joy.
Mm. Well, thank you for a glimpse of what's alive within you. The invitation as we continue to explore now is to see if you can still maintain some quality of this radiant receptivity. In a sense, the formal meditation has concluded and we're moving into the carryover practice. So, at the end of a formal meditation session, we don't want to just kind of rush off and leave it all behind. The intention is, how can we carry this view, this quality of presence, this energy with us into whatever comes next? And then when it's totally faded and we've lost it again, or it starts to fade, how can we come back into that quality of presence again and carry that over again? So that really a fully integrated meditation practice is a beautiful oscillation throughout the day of periods of formal practice where we're really tuning our instrument and really dropping into a quality of being, and then carrying that over as we go into a meeting or we take a walk or we go shopping, carrying that with us, being vigilant to, in a sense, keep the lights on as we walk down the street or we talk with people, and noticing what starts to fade and then coming back to it again and just brightening that light and that radiant receptivity and carrying it on. So the flow, for a real practitioner throughout the day is this beautiful oscillation of times of really dropping in, attuning and coming to these qualities of being, and then holding the intention to carry that on with us as we move into whatever it is that comes next, and just back and forth between those two phases. So here in the carryover phase of our sharing, Just see if you can just, in a sense, kind of like the Buddha mudra of reaching down to touch the ground, the deepest ground of being, just by touching our heart, by gently smiling, by reaching down to touch the ground as we're in this mode of reflecting together. See if you can still stay tuned to and hold the view of whatever you've touched in the meditation that has meaning and value for you. Yeah, it's a beautiful practice of integration. So I'd like to invite at this point just any reflections on what you glimpsed or touched in the meditation that had meaning for you, or any questions you may have on any of the phases of the practice that we touched on today. Yeah. All voices are welcome. You can either raise a hand or just unmute and speak. Natalie.
Thank you, Joel, for this meditation. I felt like I could really have this vibratory experience. I think you called it harmonic. And I felt it, I guess, through the main part of my body and also throughout the rest of my body. And, it was like a joy that you can't always feel. And one of the things you said, can you go back to it? And my automatic response is to hold it, but I have to realize only in the moment. And can I bring that moment back? And you're giving me a challenge, and I'm going to see if I can do it.
Oh, how beautiful. Yeah. There's this phrase in this tradition of small glimpses many times. And to appreciate through our practice, it's a cultivating of familiarity. It's a cultivating of access to these more sublime, these more blissful and joyful and peaceful and empowered and selfless states of being, so that we're becoming ever more familiar with these sublime qualities of being, and we're developing ever more skillfulness in accessing them. And we're developing ever more confidence in our capacity to tune into these qualities of being. So, yeah, it's just helpful to keep in mind that that's what we're cultivating through these kinds of practices. Judy.
I want to thank you, Joel. And I hope you do remind people of your newsletter that goes out at some point, because I read it every morning and it just sets the reminder tone that you're talking about. And it's beautiful. And especially in these times, it is incredibly grounding. Maybe Amanda can put that information in the chat or something, or
Yeah,
you can.
I'll put it in the chat for everyone. We send out a daily inspirational email that we try to keep attuned to the energies and the circumstances and the larger model of our life and our world. So I'll put in my email, and if anybody wants to subscribe to that, it's free. Just send me an email and just say daily inspirational email or something like that.
Yeah. I'd just like to share how I remind myself to come back into this space. My image, when I meditate, when I'm in that space of awareness, is being on top of the mountain. And so rather than having to think about my meditation posture, change any thinking, I bring myself back to place, which has no thought, has no stories to it. It has nothing. It is a place of awareness, but it's concrete enough for me so that I can return myself there, or return myself to the beach and watch the ocean but I have to do something in which there's no thought, no stories, no biography, no trauma, no karma, nothing. And place grounds me even in my mind. But I want to thank you for this morning. It's just beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Judy. And a deep bow to your own inner guru for giving you the receptivity to the image of the mountaintop that has potency for you. You know, it's like a teacher might introduce you to an image like that, and it would have, you know, potentially some value. But when those kinds of really potent images or mudras or that guidance comes from within, and we're receptive to that, and we realize, oh, that really helped open the door for me to these qualities of being that I treasure and I yearn to connect with more deeply, then those are real gifts from our inner guru, and you know, worthy of a deep bow. Yeah, thank you, Judy. Good to see you here. Any other reflections on what had meaning for you? Joni.
Yes, hi,
Hi,
Joel.
good to see you, dear.
So the very beginning, the simplicity of reaching for the star, um, really I have a lot of resonance with the galaxies or the quantum world or that world where I have this beautiful book.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's a great book.
so the whole meditation, I was able to embody. um, Radiance is kind of more of a luscious experience, and not so dry, and which I can relate to. So just that reaching for the star really allowed me to pull the galaxies into me and the images, and yeah, have a felt sense of that light. So um, I love that. Thank you. It was so simple and so beautiful.
Yeah. And, you know, having the kind of deep somatic grounding that you do, you can appreciate that by actually doing something physical like that, you know, having a mudra or a gesture that's an embody, it can open a quality of access in a really direct sort of way. So I'm glad that you could tune into that. And also, you know, it's just, you probably didn't show up today with any expectation that you'd be reaching up, pick up a star. So, you know, just the element of surprise is kind of activating of a certain quality of presence.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right. Uh-huh. Thank you.
Yeah. Beautiful. Great to see you, Joni.
Too.
Susan, you've got a hand up there.
Hi.
Hi.
I just loved everything. The way you weave words together and weave traditions together, it just all felt resonant with who I am and my spiritual being. And I felt like my whole being was I just love words and I love things that resonate. And I felt the resonance throughout the whole meditation. Um, the child in me really loved that little piece of the blue Buddhas in all the places of pain. I mean, I just thought that was a cat's meow, I love that. And I never thought of doing that, but I've done medicine Buddha formal practice, but I thought, oh, what fun. This is so much fun, And I think this focus on radiant receptivity also really brings that joyous aspect to me, because sometimes I get caught up in the Buddhist shoulds and shouldn'ts, from my old Theravadan days. I spent a lot of time at IMS, and
Yeah, me too.
it just felt very good, bad, don't do this, do this, and you kind of lose track of the big picture, and the radiance, and the energy aspect. And so as these later years, I'm really drawn so much to people who can teach in this way, you know? And the kid in me is saying, oh, I want to listen to that again. So I can't wait to get the replay and see, because I get the feeling the way you teach, it's fresh each time you as a student do it, because it's whatever is arising, you know? So I just love the whole thing. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Beautiful. Thank you, Susan. I feel really touched by what you shared. As you say that, I think of, imagine the Buddha awakening, just blowing the top and the bottom out of any sense of separate self and being open to sensing what all beings sense and knowing what all beings know and feeling what all beings feeling and wandering throughout the regions that he traveled, wandering into a community, totally tuning into the mind field of causes and conditions and circumstances and tensions and latencies that were there. And through that deep receptivity, then going into the radiance of offering whatever teachings that he offered there that would be enlightening or beneficial for the individuals and the collective that was present. So, it's not like he would sit under a tree or go to the coffee shop and make notes for what he was going to teach in the next village. He'd just simply show up, be receptive and tuned into the circumstances that were there, and then with compassion out of awake awareness and compassionate responsiveness, hold a flower or give a teaching or get somebody to ask a question that he could teach into or whatever. So just that an enlightened being is in the mode of responsive compassion, awake, aware responsiveness. And yeah, I used to talk to my grandfather about all of this stuff. He was my root guru. He really taught me what daily practice looked like and faith and dedication looked like. And I'd start riffing to him with my amazement at studying the Dharma, and he'd kind of chuckle and go, yeah, it's deep stuff, son. It's really deep stuff.
Also back in my Theravadan days, there was some story that one of the teachers told about a mentally retarded man who the Buddha gave this very simple practice of rubbing a silk scarf back and forth, and he became enlightened. And I always think about that when I get very judgmental about my capacities. And it's like, it doesn't have to be too complicated.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
How
we
beautiful.
overly complicate it because there's endless teachings of all kind. I mean, it's overwhelming to me sometimes.
Yeah. I think, really at the deepest core of it, and you can find harmonics of this in all the wisdom traditions, it's more the sincerity of dedication and devotion that we bring to the practice than the technicalities of it. And I think, just when we're able to just kind of abide within that pure hearted aspiration and the radiance of that, it'll bring us the guidance and the realizations that we need. It's much less about technique as it is about kind of that purity and of true heartedness. Yeah. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Robin.
Hi, thanks for your wonderful meditation and teaching, Joel. I really enjoyed it. And, I like what Susan and other people have said. And for me, actually, I just began to practice with Vajrayogini. So I was visualizing the light coming from her and then moving down the chakras. And I felt a sense of spaciousness and empowerment. So that's been my experience, and it's what I needed. And I've really like your point about just not focusing so much on the technicalities, but the sincerity of your practice, because I remember something Suzuki Roshi said in his book Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, and it's in the section on right effort. He said the point we emphasize is not the state we attain, it's the sincerity of our practice and the confidence we have in our own original mind. And you just echoed that, so thanks.
Yeah, thank you. And to bring whatever you touched in this meditation into a practice like Vajrayogini or a deity yoga practice, because they all have the seed syllables in their heart, or the Om Ahung at the crown, the throat, and the heart, and to just appreciate, just that as you're chanting the mantra, as you're holding the visualization, that you're not only in this mode of radiance and blessings to all beings, but you're also drawing in the blessings and the spiritual strength of all that is good and true and noble. So it's quite profound. Thank you. Alan.
Yeah, good morning, Joel.
morning.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the surprises. The first one was reaching for a star. Did not expect that. And then, and I was like, huh, okay. And then referencing Reb Zalman was like, oh, how lovely to bring Reb Zalman into this.
Yeah.
And then the practice, just what really struck me and what I'm carrying is the sort of horizontal nature of this, that the flow, and it's like an opening to some experience of no self, that it's not about me, it's not about you or them or whatever, it's just like one flow, and we all have to offer, and we all have to receive, and then the middle of that just kind of gets a little less important, and it's just kind of tuning into the flow. So I really, really appreciated the meditation and your bringing us through it.
Yeah, thank you, Alan. I appreciate the nuance of what you shared there. I'm appreciating how in all of our sharing, it's like we're catching different facets of the jewel of this practice. And Alan, as you're speaking, I really, that quality of sitting at the nexus of that radiant receptivity, that receiving and radiating. It's really hard for the ordinary structures that maintain a sense of a separate self to maintain themselves, it's sort of like those psychic structures and those mental habits kind of get dissolved when you're abiding within this space, and there's a vivid quality of presence, yet it's a kind of boundless, selfless, ambiguous, in a sense, quality of just radiant receptivity and presence. So yeah. There's a skillfulness to that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other voices that would like to be heard or reflections to be shared? Yeah, Priscilla, please. So good to see you, and Liz, I hope you're comfy in your new home. Yeah, unmute, okay? I can't hear you, so unmute.
We're almost, we have a few more months, but thank you
Okay.
for this lovely morning. And as people were speaking, what thought came to my mind was, as you have been giving this beautiful contemplation, just the sense that you're embodying all of the things that you are talking about, the radiance and receptivity, and just more of a feeling sense of this contemplation with you. And one thing that I wondered about was, because of the circular motion of it, Tonglen came creeping in, and I thought, is this okay? But if
Oh, yes.
I just made a space for it because the radiance can take everything. So I it was plenty of room, and I was happy to feel like that was fine as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll share an image here, and I'll just give a little bit of commentary on what you just said. Okay. So there's the practices of refuge where we draw in strength and blessings from teachers and all the sources of blessings from the ground of reality that we call the Dharma and from the Sangha. And we embed ourselves within that matrix and we gather a light and we radiate our thanks and gratitude into it. So refuge and bodhichitta, a sense of receiving and gathering light and strength and radiating it. But you can interfuse into that then Tonglen, where you come into resonance with the suffering or the pain that's embedded within us and in the larger body that we share. And in the same way that we are receptive to the blessings and the strength, we come into empathic resonance with and receptivity to the suffering and the pain. And we take that into our hearts and we let that open our hearts to a radiance of loving kindness and compassion and healing that flows forth. So that in a sense, this refuge and bodhicitta, this gathering light, radiating light, can interfuse with Tonglen, of gathering the darkness, the pain, the suffering, transforming that and letting that just fuel the radiance of our light as well. So I think kind of a unique piece in kind of the style of Dharma that Michelle and I share really is kind of this a reminder to us that we can both breathe in light and darkness to fuel our awakening and to open our heart to a kind of radiance of healing and blessings. So the fact that you kind of the Tonglen, your inner guru nudged you in the Tonglen direction in this meditation, I think is just spot on, given the vastness of compassion that you are kind of native to, Priscilla, so yeah, welcome home to that. Thank you. Yeah, really heartwarming to see you both. Amanda, what do you have to bring to our awareness?
So there's a lot of pieces kind of coming together for me right now. I'm having one of those great aha moments.
Yeah.
So I am definitely one of those people who has visited several different schools of meditation and Buddhism. And, you can't do that without seeing how they're all really the same thing. And especially reading your bio earlier, it seems like you are also a person who has explored, several different ideas. And something I've been wrestling with quite a bit over the last several months was, okay, if all of these are ultimately the same and are going to get us to the same point because, awakening is the goal, there's sort of this, I don't know, I guess within me, there's been this wondering of, okay, how important is it which school of thought a person follows? And while I was going through your meditation and then listening to people's comments, it occurred to me that it's a lot like, we're all trying to get to a certain destination from different starting points. So different practices are the right direction depending on where you are.
Yes.
And the idea of bringing in the Tonglen, like that's an excellent direction. And I was really leading into a, feeling-based metta kind of practice, because that speaks to me quite a bit. So it's just really beautiful, I think, to hear everybody's experience within, one meditation session being so personalized to each
Yeah.
of them, but knowing that we're all going to the same place.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Amanda. I'm touched by what's behind your words and what you shared, and I think it's beautiful how in a practice like this, some people, what emerges as the guidance is to go into metta, and for some of us, it's to go into Tonglen, and for others, just into a meditation on selflessness and interdependence. That when you kind of get, the catch the wave of this, that it will carry each of us in a direction that maybe will be best suited to us at that moment. So yeah. Rumi says, there are 1,000 ways to kneel and touch the ground, kiss the ground, holy ground. And I think from a awakened point of view, um, there's a quality of awakened, enlightened presence within us, and the various wisdom traditions are ways to re-enlighten ourselves to the awakeness that's within us all the time. And different beings, speak different languages and have different cultural norms, and great teachers and bodhisattvas arise who speak those languages and who can teach within those cultural forms. But the awakening is the same awakening at the deepest level, even though the methodologies and the framings and the descriptions may vary. Quite remarkable, really. I remember I was at a Lama Chupa retreat with Dzong Rinpoche at one point, many years ago in Yucca Valley. And he gave a month of these just incredibly technical, beautiful teachings and commentary on the Lama Chupa practice. And at the end of that, here's Dzong Rinpoche. He's abbot of the largest monastic university in Tibet. Incredible being. I mean, just such a powerhouse of the Dharma. And at the end of this teaching, we're all set to kind of emerge from the chrysalis of a month of this just total immersion and go back out into the world. And he says, as you prepare to leave this retreat and go forth into the world, honor the Dharma of the Christian people and honor the Dharma of the Muslims and of the Jews and all the different traditions, and appreciate that, at the deepest core, there's just one Dharma. But it takes different forms. It has different traditions. It speaks different languages. And I thought for somebody who was just, in a sense, so embedded within the matrix of his tradition to give a teaching like that was kind of stunning, really. I wouldn't have expected that from him, but that in many ways just gave it more strength and more voltage. So I was very touched by that. Yeah. What I'm thinking, Amanda, you could do this or I can do this, is I'd love to just go into small groups, maybe 2 or 3 people, just for 5 minutes or so, and have everybody give voice to what would you like to remember from this session? What was meaningful for you that you'd like to remember? And then we'll come back from that, and I'll share a really beautiful dedication prayer from Dujum Rinpoche that is really a magnificent dedication. So Amanda, would you like to just drop us into small groups, and I can bring us out from those small groups or send you a message at that point.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Maybe 5-6 minutes. Yeah. What would you like to really remember and carry with you from this time?
All right, so room should be all set up. If you have a difficult time getting into your room, let me know and I can move you there.
And Amanda, if you want to go into one of the rooms, I'm happy to just bring us out. That way you have a chance to engage as well.
Okay. And before I hop into a room, somebody asked if you would be willing to share that graphic, the image
Yeah,
that you put up.
I'll see if there's a way I can do that. Yeah. Thank you.
with her and be reminded to.
Yay.
We need
Sorry.
more.
Sorry, the return was so abrupt. I'm used to there being a minute kind of countdown before it pops everybody back. So, so just take a moment to just feel what you're returning from the small groups with, how you've been touched, inspired by bathing in the light of each other's presence. And if you like, just let your heart reach back to the people you were sharing so deeply with, and just however the word translates, just light them up with your gratitude, with your love, with your blessing,
Thank you,
with your method. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I remember Bob Thurman at one point when I was with him said, through our words, we enter each other's minds. Through our words, we enter each other's minds. Somebody had requested the image that I shared, that toroidal field of interpenetrating energies. And I've dropped that in the chat. It looks like it's taking a moment to download here. Once it's finished downloading, if you're interested, you could click it open and then just save it to your desktop or whatever. And I'm happy to share the image of that. And I also want to share, since the COVID lockdown began over 4 years ago, Michelle and I have been hosting four Zoom meditations each week online. And we've got the links for that in our daily inspirational email. So if any of you are interested in joining us for any of those meditations, you're more than welcome to. We just do it on a Dana basis. And it's been actually a rather remarkable experience of building community online. So that is an available resource, and you're all welcome to join us. So my email, again, is in the chat. And feel free to just send me your email. I'll add you to our list. For now, any further reflections to share before we dedicate? And the file has finished downloading. If you want to open it and save it, you're welcome to. Okay.
I just want to say thank you to you, Joel, and to the Sangha here, to the energy that we're sharing, that's flow. I mean, this is chi. I often wonder what chi is. This is chi. So thank you.
Yeah, we're so fortunate to have access to these kinds of teachings. Yeah, just incredibly fortunate. And through our privilege of this, then it can really fuel our dedication to sharing this, to embodying this, to conveying it. Catherine.
Hi.
Hi.
I want to take a moment to have gratitude for the wholesome use of technology in these times.
Yeah. How fortunate we are to just be in a time of just such dreadful circumstance and be so blessed to be so connected, temporally and atemporally, through the technology. It's a real mixed bag, but we're certainly using it well here.
I often have this when I have that sense of gratitude, I have this feeling of being able to, or asking myself the question, or wondering if I'm perceiving that as a species, is it helping us to relearn our one mind together? Is it helping us to feel all of the energetics of all of these different people here today across the world, and to help train that back into me, that sense of one mind that I imagine that our species has been better at doing at other times. And so when I incorporate experience people that have been working on themselves and their energy and what they're emanating, and that I get to feel that as I'm looking for this connection of one mind together. I'm just so grateful for everybody's work, and I'm so grateful that some magic has dropped every person here into this little pocket that I get to, you know, crawl up to and just bask in for a minute.
Yeah, how beautiful. And to appreciate that in our dedications, we can let it flow out to all the programmers and the people who've created the infrastructure and the satellites and what have you, you know. That's a meditation on emptiness right there, just the vastness of interdependencies that allows us to see each other and hear each other's voice and share these, you know, profound and sublime teachings, you know, just the gift has come to us, we take it to heart, and then, you know, it's the natural response to complete the circle of that receiving, to reach back with blessings and with dedication. So thank you for reminding us of that. Yeah.
I just want to make a small but strong dedication to all the people out there doing the programming in our technical universe, that they may find the Dharma and the goodness in their own hearts as they build the infrastructure that holds people.
Oh yeah. And the AI and all the rest of it, you know, may that come from the deepest place of awakening. Yeah. Thank you for that. That's profound. Susan, did you have something more to share?
I just wanted to say, aside from this being incredibly helpful to me and wonderful, something a friend said to me yesterday, who's a Unitarian minister and a very wise woman. And I was telling her how challenging these times are for me, especially since I have close family in LA, you know. And she said, well, you always have to remember that chaos comes before rebirth. And there was something about that just hit like an arrow into my consciousness. Like it like shifted things around for me, because I've been so focused on the chaos, you know, and like, oh, okay, you know, it's kind of, I can deal with it now. I don't know why. Just those words, it shifted everything. And I don't know if that's just me personally, or could you say something about that?
Yeah. You know, it's through the dissolutions that we can reconfigure and self-generate, you know, and just,
Yeah. Yeah.
and and I think, you know, every day, every night when we go to sleep and we just, you know, surrender into the mystery, and now I lay me down to sleep, you know, it's a chance to just, you know, practice our dying and our letting go and our dissolution. And every day as we awaken, you know, to just, how do we want to reconfigure, you know, how do we want to rise up, you know, kind of space do we want to occupy, what kind of star do we want to tune and carry shining in our hearts today, and to really let that be part of our practice. It can be quite sublime.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. As we move into dedication, I'd like to just invite anyone, just call out a dedication, you know, just taking all the goodness and the inspiration and the blessings of our time to heart as positive energy and potency and blessings, you know. To who or where or how would you like to dedicate this as we hover at this rather intense threshold moment in our lives and our world, you know, with so much suffering and potential? Yeah, just call out, please call out any dedications that you'd like to offer. And then we'll do a final dedication together.
Matthew.
Dedicate to Joel and Michelle for all that they do to bring us closer together and see things in different ways in this prism that we're traveling.
Thank you, Joan.
And I'd really like to encourage anybody to check out their sanghas. I've been going for years now, and I wouldn't be as sane as I a little bit am without them. So thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been quite a journey we've shared.
Mhm.
Any other dedications you'd like to offer and invite us to join you in?
I'd like to dedicate to all the people in LA that they get everything that they need to rebuild and that they feel loved and supported. Thank you.
You dedicate to the earthquake victims in Tibet now, and may the violence that's in this country dissipate, disappear, dissolve, be reborn into peace.
Thank you, Judy.
I'd like to dedicate to those engaged practitioners looking for skillful means to bring to the very public social realm in ways of wisdom and compassion.
Thank you, Al. Okay. Amanda, can you bring up that dedication prayer that we sent to you?
And as I'm pulling that up, I also would like to let everyone know I put the link for donations in the chat. So a lot of our programs at Wonderwell run thanks to Donna and donations from programs like this. It also goes to support our teachers. So if you feel moved to make a monetary donation, you can use that link. There's also an opportunity on that page to look at volunteer opportunities with Wonderwell. Donna just means generosity, not, and I know a lot of times we associate it with finances, but time and practice are also forms of generosity. So that's there for anybody who would like to.
And thank you, Amanda, for your tech support and gracious hosting today. Much appreciated. As we're moving into the dedication, I'm looking out this big round window in front of me, and it's just before dawn here in Hawaii. And there's waves of white cattle egrets coming up the hill, and it's quite beautiful. Do you have that one from Dujum Rinpoche that I had sent in, Amanda? If not, I can find it and pull it up.
I don't see it. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I'll just pull it up. Maybe stop your screen share and I'll do mine. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is really, this has been a very special practice for me for many years. Dedication prayer. There's elements of this that came from Dujum Rinpoche and some that came from Chakdud Rinpoche. And it's just, a profound practice. I'll drop this in the chat when we finish as well, and you can get a copy of it. So let's just read this together and really feel how the imagery and the energy and the blessings in these words resonates for us. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I've accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice and all that I will ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences to be as insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the arising of every phenomena. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. Buddhas and bodhisattvas all together, whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, and whatever kind of immense wisdom you have, then similarly may I, who have come in the same way to benefit beings, pray to attain these qualities. At this very moment, for the people and the nations of the earth, may not even the names disease, famine, war, and suffering be heard. Rather, may their moral conduct, merit, wealth, and prosperity increase, and may supreme good fortune and well-being always arise for them. Let me see if I can get that and drop it in the chat. Okay, I put that in the chat if you'd like to open it and then save it to your desktop. What a blessed time together. Let us bow, give a deep bow, and carry this with us as we dance on into the rest of this precious day. For the benefit of all. Yes.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thanks to everyone. Thanks
Thank
to
you.
Joel.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Joel. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
I like your new refrigerator, Judy.
Healing to all.
Wonderful.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Amanda. Have a great day.
You too.